everybody, and my name is the Young Stoic, and today, coming back with another video of wisdom, and today we're going to be talking about anxiety. And just a bit of a comment, if you see my cat or something, I don't know if you will, but if you see my cat, it's in my room right now, so I might leave later to let it escape, but for now, we're going to be talking about anxiety today, and this is something I really used to struggle with, less so now, but I'll get into that a bit later. So first, we're going to start off with the reading. This is coming from February 3rd, and okay, one thing I want to get out of the way, is just, by the way, if you're watching this, like, I think there's going to be some amount of people watching this in the future, not in the order. So that's why, like, in the titles, I don't say like day 2 or something, because it's not specifically, you don't have to watch these all in order. Just about, if you're watching, like, feel free to watch them at your own pace. Whatever video you think you want to watch is fine. So yeah, so without further ado, we're going to be starting off this reading, and it comes from Epictetus from Discourses. So, when I see an anxious person, I ask myself, what do they want? For if a person wasn't wanting something outside of their own control, why would they be stricken by anxiety? You know, this is something I wonder about, like, why do humans, like, struggle with anxiety, with the things they can't control? Because it doesn't really make sense for us to worry about nothing, you know? Like, I understand that, like, we worry about death and stuff, but, like, I don't really see why we worry about things we don't control. And, like, if you believe in, like, God or something like that, then you could explain it with sin. But I don't really see how it can be explained, like, from a naturalistic perspective. Hold on one second. But yeah, so I don't know. That's just a query I have, because I don't really see this as an emotion that can be explained. Okay, one second. We have a special visitor today. This is Moko. Yeah, he's very happy to be here. Isn't that right, Moko? Yeah, do you want to learn about anxiety? Is that true? Yeah. Are you mesmerized by your own image? I don't think so. Okay. Time to come down. Okay. So, moving on. That was a special guest star appearance for today, for this video. So maybe we'll get part 2 to that someday in the future. But for now, we'll go on to the book's explanation. The anxious father worried about his children. What does he want? A world that is always safe. A frenzied traveler. What does she want? For the weather to hold and for traffic to part so she can make her flight? A nervous investor. That the market will turn around and an investment will pay off. All of these scenarios, I don't know why I can't read today. All these scenarios hold the same thing in common. As Epictetus says, it's wanting something outside our control. Getting worked up, getting excited, nervously pacing. These intense, pained, and anxious moments show us at our most futile and servile? I don't know if I've seen that word before. Staring at the clock, at the ticker, at the next checkout lane over, at the sky. It's as if we all belong to a religious cult that believes the gods of fate will only give us what we want if we sacrifice our peace of mind. Today, when you find yourself getting anxious, ask yourself, why are my insides twisted into knots? Am I in control here, or is my anxiety? And most important, is my anxiety doing me any good? Sorry guys, I can't really read sometimes, so just have to bear with me. So yeah, as I said at the beginning of the video, anxiety is something I used to deal with a lot in the younger grades when I was in especially like grade 11 in high school. Like it was really, I'd have a lot of like test anxiety, like to a point where, like, for exams, when I had a chemistry exam, and chemistry was not my subject, to be real with you. I don't know why. It might just because I was really overwhelmed that semester. But yeah, chemistry was just not doing me any favors. And so for the exam, it was really stressful because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Um, and well, that thought. And so, yeah, it was really just not the greatest time. And during exams, like right on the test day, like my ears would start ringing. And it was kind of like the ring when you hear a really loud or sharp noise. It just kind of makes your ears, like your eardrums, like vibrate. That like it's just like it's like hard to deal with, you know. But there was no loud sounds. Like it was just like completely stress induced. Like my ears would just like shake. Like I don't know why, but it was just because of all the like anxiety I had. Um, and then that chemistry test was not exam was not the greatest, by the way. So it was somewhat well deserved anxiety. But well, see, here's the thing: it's anxiety for like going into that test or into that exam. There was nothing I could really do to better prepare myself. Like on the day of, there was nothing I could really have done. So there's not really any point in stressing at that point. And like I don't know, I don't have like a miracle solution to anxiety, but one thing that kind of just helped me was just like being in stressful and in anxious situations like more. Just being in so much of them just like completely changed. Like it made it easier. Yeah, it just made me have less anxiety than I did before. And like it's kind of similar to when soldiers like go into battle for the first time. They're gonna be really stressed out, obviously. Um, and but as time goes on, then those stressful situations like they become less stressful for the soldier. And I think that's a similar thing that just happens. Like as time goes on, you just start to realize that like okay, I can't control this. Like it's like what like basically it is what it is, you know. Whatever happens. And so yeah, that's just like if you're dealing with anxiety like in school right now, just know that it's probably gonna go away eventually, just as a byproduct of like, because like the more your body gets accustomed to these situations, the more it's gonna like basically like it sounds kind of sad, but it's gonna think of these anxious environments as like basically home, like because it's just so familiar. Um, but it will happen faster if you think through uh like if you think that there's nothing to worry about. So if when you're on test days and before that when you're studying, you just have to think through it and be like, listen, if I'm gonna do my best and that's all it's gonna get me, all I'm gonna get myself, and whatever happens after that is just up to the universe to control. Like it's not up to you. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say on anxiety. I don't know. I mean, there's obviously like things you can take to reduce anxiety, like I can't remember the name right now. Uh um Rescue Remedy. That's what it's called. Okay, rescue remedy. That's something that I take and like people in my family take because like I'm not the only one that deals with stress in my family. So we sometimes if you're in a really stressful situation, then you take a rescue remedy, and it basically just like it's not like some like synthetic chemical. It's some kind of like natural thing that you take, and it just reduces your stress. Like I don't know, it might just be like 99% like mind over matter, that kind of thing. Like it might not actually be a chemical, but it works for me. So you can take those things. Yeah, I don't deal with anxiety as much anymore, just because it's just like I don't know. It's just like it is what it is. Like, uh, so yeah, that's that's basically what I have to say on about anxiety. If you have anxiety, just like oh, okay, one more story I have, which is gonna get a bit serious, is I have this friend from China who is at my dorm, and he said so he was talking about this other guy in another Chinese international student, and he was like, "Oh, this guy comes from a really bad high school back in China because everybody's happy there and nobody commits suicide." And he basically said that the way you can judge schools is by whether or not people are committing suicide, and whether or not like people are like happy there. And he said that like even like it happens so often that like when they hear about someone committing suicide, it's not like an outcry that happens. It's just, oh yay, midterms are canceled. And yeah, it's just to say, I just say that because, well, first of all, that's an example of people basically like getting so used to something that it just becomes normal. And again, that's probably what's going to happen with anxiety, especially at least in school. So, and then the other thing is just that I just say like if you have serious anxiety problems, or you're feeling pressure from like somebody like your parents or something, or expectations or something, then just remember that it's not a you problem. A lot of people have it and it can get pretty serious. So I suggest getting some help. You know, if you can get some, like it doesn't have to be rescue remedy. It can be other things you can take. And yeah, just like get help. Like just make sure that you remember, I'll say specifically for school, that your grades don't define you, because that's basically generally why people commit suicide. Well, I don't know if it's that always, but from like, for example, the examples I've been talking about, yeah, people commit suicide because they just can't do it. Like they feel like they're worthless, and just remember that your grades, like yeah, I remember like I used to think that back when I was so stressed that my grades define me, and they just don't. Like it you know it's kind of a general trend, which is kind of sad because I don't have any quick answers or easy answers. But I basically got out of that habit the same way I was stressing, is because I just basically like over time just learn that you're not like your grades, you basically, I don't know, man, like you basically just come to the conclusion that your grades can't define you because, well, because it would be too cruel a world for your grades to define you. And I figured that out because in grade 10 I used to base my self-esteem being like, oh, I'm this smart guy, basically. Oh, my grades are so high. Like I thought that like I didn't have the highest grades, but my mentality was like I could have the highest grades basically. But then going into grade 11, I there are 3 other students were like 100% higher than me. Not like they just got better grades than me, and it was like the gap between me and them was like pretty apparent, and so like it just I just got that far, and so like that tore me apart for like a year, but I basically got over it. Like, I don't know how or why, but I just like you come to understand that your grades can't define you. Like, I don't know how, but eventually you'll come to the conclusion and you'll just like start getting on. I'm sorry if this is bad advice, but yeah, that's basically what'll happen. And I just basically came to the conclusion that like you're defined in life by how hard you try, and like obviously you're not gonna gain. I don't know. I bet. Well, okay. In the eyes of the world, you're not defined by how hard you try, but I think in the eyes of God, you're defined by how hard you try, and so that's basically my mentality now. And I think it's a better mentality than define yourself by qualitative. I don't know, by the things that are countable, because there's always a bigger fish, and there's always going to be someone who's better than you. And if you have that mentality of defining yourself by the things that are definable, or no, like that are measurable, then you'll always end up short. And so I just don't think that it's a good mentality. I lied when I said that was gonna be my last story. Yeah. So just another thing to emphasize this. So I want you guys to understand, if you see someone else struggling with anxiety, don't always brush it off and be like, oh, it's something little. At my brother's university, a guy committed suicide because his parents, so this is another Chinese international student, he committed suicide because his parents surprised him by coming here, and like when they got there, like I think they called him when they were at the airport and like, surprise, we're coming to see you. And he couldn't, so I don't know, he couldn't, he obviously, he had like some kind of bad grades or had a bad test or something, and he couldn't take facing them so much that he jumped off a building. And yeah, so it's like it can be that serious sometimes. Just remember that if you're ever observing someone else with anxiety, that it can be that serious. So don't, like, be a jerk about it. Yeah, I think that is my last story, I'll say. Yeah. So if you guys have any tips about controlling anxiety or mitigating it, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, and I'm sure other people would too. Other than that, this has been another banger video from your boy, the young Stoic. So I hope to see you in the next video. If I don't, then have a good life. Goodbye.